What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Stock Hustle channel with your boy William. So today's video is going to be a little different than most. I've never really dropped a video early morning, but I wanted to try something new, see what you guys think. If you guys like it, it's something I can work on for the future and start doing in this format. As again, the purpose of the channel is financial education and teaching you guys about opportunities that are out in the market, or teaching you fundamentals in relation to how to invest in the stock market. With that being said, as always guys, likes and comments are fully appreciated, as well as subscriptions, as it does help with the channel's growth. I am a relatively new channel, essentially only been recording videos for the last month and a half, almost 2 months. But again, let's get into it. So as you guys see from the chart on my Thinkorswim, this is a ticker by the name of GGPI. It is a Spac merger that just recently published officially on Monday, which is this ginormous green candle with this enormous volume behind it in the gray bar, who announced publicly they will be taking, via Spac merger, a company by the name of Polestar, which is an EV play. Now, Spac merger, what does it mean? SPAC is short for Special Purpose Acquisition Company. Essentially, when two companies merge to bring one company to trade publicly, right? This company did elect to go via that route with Polestar. Who is Polestar? Polestar is a company that is owned essentially by Volvo, the 7th biggest car company in the world, or luxury car company in the world, and Geely, which is the 3rd biggest auto manufacturer in China. Now, I'm not really going to give you anything on the chart because, again, there's not really much to give you. For those of you that do not know, SPACs have a floor of $10. What does that mean? That means if today you chose to buy 100 shares, you would essentially spend $1,031. However, your risk, right? Your risk, what are you really risking? You would really only be risking $31, right? How do I know that? Well, simple. We can go to the SEC.GOV website, and it says right here, one thing to keep in mind is that if you purchase your shares of an open market, you are only entitled to your pro rata share of the trust account, not priced at which you bought a SPAC share on the market. For example, if a SPAC had an IPO at $10 per share, as they normally do, or $10 per share, but you bought 100 SPAC shares on the open market at $12 a share, the shares you purchased are associated with a trust account balance of $10 per share, right? Again, they have a floor of $10. So essentially, if you bought today, you're buying in at the ground floor. Now, why is Polestar important, or why would anyone care? Well, when it comes to EV manufacturers, there's a couple things you need to consider, right? Number one, who are they competing against? Well, who's number one? Tesla clearly is the favorite ahead of the pack by miles. Why? What sets them apart? Different models of cars. They have successful different variations of their cars producing in full electric. And probably the biggest piece of that is that they are a global car producer. They produce cars in China, they produce cars in Germany, they produce cars in North America, which means that at any point in time, they can make a car and get it to any part of the world they want to, no problems, no issues. That sets them apart because now they're producing money globally, not just from one specific country, but literally global. The point is to get global with EV, because now you have the whole globe as your market share, not just one small piece or one small country, right? So that's why Tesla has taken the lead and is going to hold the lead for quite some time. It's really what you're seeing now, and all these other car companies are coming out like NIO, XPeng, Li, which are Chinese, by the way, mind you. China's going through its turmoil right now, so keep that in the back of your mind. And Canoe, you have Lucid, who just actually started producing cars, I believe yesterday or the day before, in their plant, which is literally about an hour south here where I live in Arizona. Lucid has a lot of hype behind it because specifically their CEO, Peter Rawlinson, who was the engineer who essentially designed the Tesla Model S and then broke off and now founded Lucid and is now going to start producing cars, has a plant in California and one here in Arizona. However, they're lacking is a plant on the other side of the globe to get cars to the Asian market and to get cars to the European market. That's a critical piece. That's a big piece of the market share because both of those markets are ginormous and they're going to be major players in the EV market. That's one of the negatives I see to Lucid that gives it an opportunity of growth, right? So essentially, you have to think when you're thinking of where you're going to put your money or where you're going to invest it, is what is going to produce cars faster. Well, in my opinion, that difference maker is going to be Polestar. So Polestar does have a website, which I did go ahead and take the liberty of looking up. This is the Polestar 1 car they are already existing or currently making. It is a performance hybrid, so it's a 4-cylinder turbo hybrid, essentially both electric and ICE, which is internal combustion engine for those that do not know. This is the Polestar 2. The Polestar 2 is a pretty cool car. It is a fastback, or they call it a version of a fastback. It's priced moderately cheap compared to what I thought it would be. I think it was 38,400. So this is essentially in competition with the Tesla Model 3 or the Go EV one we just saw on Sunday's video. Again, around the 38,000 price mark. So these are relatively cheaper priced EVs. Again, that's pretty impressive for an all-wheel drive, 4.5 second 0 to 60 mile all-electric vehicle. And it's all-wheel drive, and I think it's either one motor or twin motor. This is the only negative I saw about the car. A 265 mile range on a single charge. That seemed a little light compared to Tesla, who's pushing 300 in the Model 3, and I believe 500 in the Model S long range versions. I don't own a Tesla yet. Note what I said, yet. But when I do, I'll have more fun facts for you guys later on down the road. It does have a glass roof. I thought that was pretty cool. The tail light looks like a Volvo. A Volvo is partial owner of this company, as well as Geely, as I mentioned, the third biggest auto manufacturer in China. The colors are pretty cool that they selected. I like this Nardo Ferrari gray that they kind of chose. They call it Thunder. This to me is Nardo gray out of a Ferrari. The interior was pretty fly too. This specific one, the Napa, looked pretty awesome. It's a minimalist design. Again, Volvo is a minimalist car company. If you've never sat in a Volvo, they have very, very minimal features inside their vehicles, even though they are considered a luxury car company. So obviously, Volvo is going to have a lot of influence on this. As you see, it's very clean, very elegant. It looks very fun to drive, to be honest. The design could have been a lot more sporty, in my opinion. But again, I'm not a car engineer. I'm a guy talking on YouTube about these cars and potential opportunities in the stock market, right? But yeah, I mean, the website has a lot of information about the car specifically. Like any other EV company, it has its features that sets it apart, right? And here we are, dual motor and then single motor, the two options. 249 on the dual, 265 on the single, which is interesting in itself. One at 38,400, the other at 42,400. So nothing that they're making at this point is going to compete with a Tesla Model S or a Model X. They do have an SUV that they're planning to make, which will be in production in Charleston, North Carolina. Specifically, there's actually a short video I wanted you guys to watch, which is here.
We are Polestar. We're an electric performance brand utilizing design and innovation to accelerate the shift to more sustainable mobility. We don't take shortcuts. We refuse to compromise. We don't follow conventions, and the only traditions we care about are the ones we're creating ourselves. We're guided by our core values of pure, progressive performance. Co-founded by Volvo Cars and Geely Holding, we have decades of both experience and safety in our genes. Manufacturing takes place in dedicated facilities in Chengdu, Luqiao, and soon in Charleston, held to the highest international standards, producing cars which are at the forefront of vehicle design, technology, and safety. Our definition of performance goes beyond straight-line acceleration. We take a holistic approach, using the highest quality components from industry-leading partners to provide a responsive, intuitive drive regardless of conditions or driving styles across our product range. In Polestar 1, an electric performance hybrid featuring a carbon fiber upper body, 1,000 Newton meters of torque, and the longest pure electric range of any hybrid. In Polestar 2, an avant-garde all-electric fastback with groundbreaking infotainment and safety features. And in Polestar Precept, which offers a glimpse of the near future.
This car here is what really sparked my interest, because I like the futuristic style. But the fact that Volvo is involved, you're going to get some luxury in there. They're going to be producing nice cars. That comes without question. For those of you that are interested, I did take the liberty of looking up The top 15 luxury car makers, as you can see, number 6 is or number 7, excuse me, is Volvo out of Sweden. Again, if you didn't know, Volvo is a Swedish car company. Looking up Geely, because I wanted to get that information on that. They are the 3rd ranked car maker in China, only outsold by Volkswagen, a German car company, and General Motors, a US car company. So that's interesting to know. They're essentially the number 1 ranked Chinese car company in China for for the CCP, the People's Republic of China, or whatever they go by nowadays. But again, that's something to keep in mind. These people, or this company, already does have production facilities in China established. The one in North Carolina is a Volvo plant, which I did already take a look at specifically. It is a Volvo plant in South Carolina. It's already there. They're only barely going to start production in 2022. Looking at Lucid, as you can see here from Google's webpage, first article from Reuters, electric car company Lucid on track for 2022-2023. I've seen other articles saying that they're targeting to start putting cars on the road in 2022, late 2022, early 2023. So again, as I did mention from the start of the video, what's going to set these car companies apart is who can get cars on the road the fastest, number 1. Number 2, how fast can they get their cars into the market globally? The Asian market is going to be gigantic, as well as the European market, which is also going to have a lot of competitors in BMW, Mercedes. Again, there's tons of car makers out of Europe as well. They're all starting to convert from ICE motors to EV, as well as you see now the US car companies in Ford, General Motors, Jeep, Chrysler, also making the switch and converting to EV. So whoever gets to the market fastest is going to be the one that makes the most money. So when you're looking at that, you got to consider that as a piece in making your decision or influence. I did go ahead and take the liberty of running Lucid Tracking. Shout out to them. For a short position, they are ranked 115, essentially 461 shares short already on a 78 million share float. Again, it's a very low float, very small company. So there's a lot of growth here, a lot of potential to essentially multiply your money long term. Going into Marketbeat, I did also take a look at institutional ownership. I was very interested to see that 240 million shares have already been bought in quarter 2. There's no reporting yet as of quarter 3. One of the interested buyers, funny how Citadel went from being a head short seller to now all of a sudden they're going long on plays. They do have a long position worth $26.86 million. No reporting on the shorts. I did also lastly take a look at the flow. Again, as you see, today's date 9/29, or excuse me, yesterday's date 9/29. You do see heavy amounts of calls starting to pour in because again, the sentiment is bullish on Polestar because they are going to be a global producer faster than most of the other car manufacturers, with exceptions like the big ones like Volkswagen and Tesla at this point. But as you do see the breakdown, again, a lot of green on the pie charts. I wouldn't play anything short term, would be my recommendation in relation to this play. 9 times out of 10, a Spac early on is going to stay close to 10. Again, this is more in line with a long-term play, or if you want to play a option play, I would encourage something like this April 2022 as far as possible, or wait maybe a month or 2 until you start getting some 2023s or 2024s, and then look at getting in at that point on a leap, something around like a 12. You're going to get close to a 0.50 delta, and you're not going to have to pay that much money because again, you're getting in early on, which is the key success to investing in a play like this, right? Right now you're risking 31 cents for every share you own versus buying a Tesla share, which is like 700 plus, right? Or a Lucid share, which is 20 plus, right? Again, Lucid itself is a Spac as well. They were a Spac merger. So again, their floor essentially was $10 prior to the merger. But again, this is Polestar's ticker, which will again convert later on at a later date from GGP to something more relatable to Polestar. If you guys have questions or comments, leave them down below. As always, don't forget to like the video, and as always, please do subscribe to the channel as it does help with the channel's growth. And as always, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.